Hello, hello. How are people doing? So, to keep it very simple, I'm just gonna run around and say, "Yo, I'm streaming on a few different places." But otherwise, let's see here. Otherwise, we're just gonna talk a little about Path of Exile 2. Just writing is here. Bada bing. Hello. You got wine. Totally missed it was releasing. Dude, I was about to miss it too. We've been so busy with the moving and everything. And then, because I thought it was gonna be in like January or something. So then my brother just went like, "Hey, we're gonna play this. Are you joining?" And I'm like, yeah, but I might want to stream it first. So I'm gonna stream the release and everything. But yeah, I remember I played a lot of Path of Exile 1 at a friend's. I don't remember. I literally can't remember where it was. I was so immersed in the game that I was like, I played on a character, but on someone else's account and everything. I need my jacket. So goddamn cold. I mean, we have your jacket here. It might have been. I don't know. I know I played. You have a sword now? Nice. I have multiple. And both. No, I have a Joe staff. And then I have multiple Eskrima. We have multiple Joe staffs. Escrimas. Yeah, we have a bunch of weapons. I was in one of the early alpha betas for Path of Exile 1 or 2. Meant the Twitch mod sword. Oh yeah. I don't see those symbols because I'm using Restream IO's chat. It just tells me if you're from Twitch or YouTube. Yeah, we're gonna have a lot more weapons, and hopefully at some point in the future, like I can put all the swords and all the cool stuff, all the nerd memorabilia and collector's items and stuff that we have up so that it's visible on stream as well. Right now, let's see. This is our background. The cold feels worse now when I know where a good jacket is. Don't forget to update roll caller. Oh yeah. Let's just do that. We are in no hurry. We have an hour until the game drops. You posted a hex code here. Let's see if I can to save settings, rules, edit. It doesn't like the X. There, you're very green now. I love that he's been blaming me for years for losing his jacket. I mean, that maybe that was it. Maybe he was like you were rushing him to a date or something. That's why he forgot the jacket. He was like, yeah, and he just rushed out the door and left the jacket at our place. It's gonna be a long stream tonight, so don't forget to hydrate. I mean, Debbie has wine, but everyone else. So, let's go here. What I'm thinking is and let's do this. I'm gonna hide some. Let's hide this stuff. And let's do this. Yeah, I know, but the code you sent contained an extra letter that the Discord color picker doesn't let me put in there. It only allows like 7 symbols or 7 characters in the hex code. I believe I had to rush to Ain shopping where David lived at the time. So here's the thing. Empress knows nothing about Path of Exile. So he's still blaming you. I don't think that's gonna go away anytime soon. He's gonna blame literally everyone except himself. Because he can. Okay, so Empress knows nothing about Path of Exile. So I was thinking we watch the cinematic trailer and the gameplay trailer to show off a little bit. So Empress, this is for you, so pay attention. Debbie, you know a very little too? Okay. Pretty much every dungeon crawler, roguelite, whatever you want to call it, is in some way modeled after this. Diablo 2 probably inspired Path of Exile, but then everything after that is inspired by Path of Exile. I need to get out from under the desk. Correct me if I'm wrong, Groogy. I know you know a lot more about this. But at least that's my impression. It's like Diablo 2 and then ARPG, exactly. It's an ARPG. The thing is, like, with the like gear generation, with a lot of the end game content and everything, a lot of what you see from like roguelites, with the like renewable content, like infinite replayability kind of stuff, pretty much comes from ARPGs in general. Where Diablo 2 was the original, like, it was the thing that really blew it up. Empress is ready. Okay. I'm gonna make sure we're gonna check the volume here first of all. So I'm gonna start playing it. People tell me what the volume is like.
Are we facing here?
A relic of the old world. Ready your men, Captain. We will only get one chance. And remember, when you hear the whispers, call for help. Do not attack!
When you hear the whispers, what do you think he was on about?
It's Dorman, right?
Yeah?
Then Dorman. Shut your damn mouth. Ugh, why do I always get stuck with these rookies?
Hey, the kid's got a mean cleave. Give him a chance.
Quiet.
Sullen!
A mean cleave, eh, Captain? Rookie can't even lift his own sword. Captain Oren? Captain? It's here. Rain! Send the signal!
What the fuck?
Rain! On my back. Blade up!
Come on, come on! I'm ready. I'm ready. It's a man.
No, it's not. Run.
Captain! Captain!
Stop! Humanity isn't ready.
On your feet, lad.
Sir, the captain,
You'll be fine. Here.
What is it?
Get the body.
Stop. Mortal. It can still be contained. You don't know what you have unleashed.
Your kind no longer control this world. We cannot destroy your body, it's true. But you will watch as we destroy everything you have built. Bind him!
Feed. Grow, my child. I'll make sure you can eat your fill.
Same. Very much same, Empress. See. There. So, that was the cinematic trailer. Like, thoughts? Opinions? Impressions? Aside from just like, it looks good. I don't know about you guys, but it's given me a bit of like New World vibes. Interesting, but kind of confused. That's the point. Like, this is something to be very like when I talked to you before. I said it as a good comparison with like Vault Hunters, because a lot of Vault Hunter systems are mirrored off of this. Here's a question: how much story is there in Vault Hunters? So it's no longer about being easy. Just gave me a horror game vibe. Yeah, I think more like dark fantasy. So it's no longer about being exiled to an island. No idea. Like, this is what we know about. This is what we know about the story. Yeah, like it doesn't really show us what it's about. Essentially, when it comes to ARPGs and like Path of Exile in general, the story has never been the main element. or an important element in general. Debbie's having a stroke. Yeah, I can. Her spelling there is interesting. I didn't really tell me what the fuck is boy look. So essentially, she spoke Irish. Baby typing, obviously. Oops, baby pressed enter before I edited. My question is, knowing where the L and the question mark is on a keyboard. How did you accidentally put in a question mark in cool? Keyboard is tiny on your lap. Okay. Well, using touchpad. Okay. The story elements aren't really like important. It's like, think about this. Like, it's all about the rule of cool. Okay, the coolest looking gear, the highest numbers, just cool visual boss fights, big set pieces, cool like big AoE spells and all that kind of stuff. It's all about the rule of cool. The entire game is just very cool. If you want people thinking about stuff, send warm regards instead of warm regards. They will think about how the fuck you made that typo forever. But yeah, like it's kind of like when you think about like Vault Hunters, for example, Empress. How much of big question? Oh, it's even bigger. 1,500 passive skills in this one. Let's go. Let's see. So this is the new passive skill tree. Yeah. So before it kind of ended here with like 1,300 something passive skills. They've added about 200. So this is the passive skill tree. So every time you level up, your class kind of starts, depending on which class you have. You start at one of these and you kind of build out from here to pick, like each small node tends to be something like, like here's the decision fatigue thing. Like visually, this is very daunting. But the entire point here is if you're a new player, don't look at the whole thing. Literally just look here. Like this is a ranger, this is the ranger start. You go, oh, I want to do more damage. You look at what has more damage buffs, evasion buffs, stuff like that. That's all you need to care about. Okay? You don't need to think about the whole skill tree. You just pick what's your next thing. And pick that based on need if you're a new player. You're gonna have a good time. You don't need to min-max or anything like that. But all of these are passive skills. So none of this actually gives you like active, like here's a flame strike or anything like that. All of that comes from like gems in the game that you place on your items. So you don't have to care about that at all. You can just focus on this for like your stats, some stats bonuses, and for some of this stuff. Oh, let's see if we can find one of those funny ones. Here, like there tends to be some of these that are very, very special. Like these nodes here. They are like, they can completely revamp how you play, but they're for people who are advanced. So by the time these becomes, thank you so much for subscribing, Cro-Magnon. So by the time you need to care about these, you're already an advanced player. At that point, that's going to be easy. But essentially, just focus on, like, you don't have 1,500 points to spend. You don't need to, do I go there or do I go there? It's just, what do I need now? I feel like I'm taking too much damage. Okay, take something that helps you evade, or take, like, have more health or anything like that. Or if it's like, I don't kill them fast enough. Okay, what can I pick that gives me more damage? That's it. That's all you have to think about. Or like, do I need more mana? Do I need more health? That's what this passive skill tree is about. So it looks daunting. It really isn't. It's more like, if you want to think about all the potential options there are, yes, this is big as fuck. But it's not necessarily that complex until you start looking at how can I min-max. Then it starts becoming really complex. But yeah. If we go, I'm gonna turn off, I'm just gonna do this to make sure. Where do I turn off my stream Steam notifications? I don't remember. Let me see. I'm going to focus more on my programming now, if that's okay. Yeah, go right ahead. I'm going to work on that. But meanwhile, I'm going to play... Hello, Rick Fu. Usually from my Windows notifications. No, I mean the little green thing that pops up that is Steam settings notification tab. Thank you. Yeah, but I'm going to play this while I'm dealing with that. And then disable the pop-up notifications. Yep. So I'm going to play the gameplay trailer for you guys. And turn off that in the meantime. Are you ready, Empress? Perfect.
Distance is a thing of beauty. Precious, but impermanent. Life and death are mortal enemies, and yet bound to one another. The continuation of life must be protected at all costs. Some have said my methods are brutal. To this, I say, there can be no salvation without sacrifice. We are faced with the end, and I will do what I must. Those who obsess with death, let them soon be acquainted with it.
Mm-hmm. 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 All right. That was the gameplay trailer. So it's like a tower defense thing. No, but it's not a third person or it's a third person top down view thing. And Rick Fu, you asked if I have extra keys. I do not, but I do have Twitch drops enabled. So those who watch after we start playing, that watch for more than 3 hours, they get some extra cool stuff from the stream, essentially. If they have connected their Twitch account to their GGG account. It's Diablo 2 spiritual successor, yeah. Definitely. The celestial-looking skill trees are essentially for endgame. It's the Atlas skill trees. Tower defense and destiny. It's yeah, I know that you can associate it. It's more like it's more like, yeah, I think it's more thinking of like you're not wrong thinking about the perspective being more like strategy game. I don't think you're wrong on that note. But I think it's closer to, remember when we played like Conqueror's Blade? That's pretty much like the perspective we're playing from. Or like closer to that, I think. So you still only control one character and you don't, like, there are hideouts that you can get where you can customize and place down some stuff and whatever, but otherwise it's generally like RPG, like action RPG. So you play with one character and control that character and level it up and everything. 90% of game happens in theory, crafting, and strategy. Depends on how you play. If you play summoner, like if you play a witch, why strategy? Just horde. 10% is clicking until things die. Like if you are a new player, I would say flip those numbers. So there's no real story, just hack and slash with level. There is a story if you want it, but the game, I think based on what the creative director has said about the game, there's probably more integrated story in the gameplay, but if they basically said that about 25 hours of gameplay is in Arc 1 through 3, and that's level 1 through 45. And then they're going to release Arc 4 through 6 and play through that, and then you get, at level 65, endgame starts. Level 65, when endgame starts, that's hundreds of hours of gameplay. There's a story, but clicking more important. Yeah. It's kind of like the meme about the whole thing is like, you spend so much time planning. It's the same thing for Vault Hunters, right? We've talked about that, how people can be sitting and like min-maxing and like they have to have exact that skill and exact this build, and like if you want to do that, go right ahead, but I think that at some point you kind of like, as a new player, you don't need to think about those things. I think, like I said before, you need to kind of flip what Grugi said. It's about 90% of clicking until things die, and 10% theory, crafting, and strategy. And that kind of just shifts the more advanced you get. Automatically, it happens, because you're going to hit points and bosses and challenges and things you want to overcome. Yeah, the other way around, sorry. Like, you're going to hit points where you want to overcome a challenge that is so difficult that unless you have a stronger character, a more optimized character, you won't clear that challenge. So you're automatically going to learn that and find ways and seek out that knowledge over time as you become more advanced as a player. That's entirely like natural progression, is the way that I would put it. Like, I very much, during most of the time I've played, never thought further than, ooh, cool, do more damage. but there also comes a point where it's like, okay, this boss has killed me like 10 times now. If I want to kill this boss and actually progress, I need to think about my weapons. I need to think about which skills, how they are connected, what are my passive skill tree choices, and like all that kind of stuff. Do I need to grind out some levels? Your face isn't showing. Oh, sorry. Now my face is showing. Hello. So, like, and like it automatically over time. It's kind of like if you play Stellaris or any other advanced game. At some point, even if you start out being just yeehaw, let's go, which you definitely like tend to do as a newer player to make sure that you don't end up with decision fatigue. The way that it over time progresses into is like, here's more advanced stuff. Like here's some more advanced builds. Here's how to think about, yeah, whatever. It's the same thing as you've literally done in Vault Hunters when you've been playing it, where you start out going like, yeah, just big javelin, more damage, blah, 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 whatever. And you get to a point when you're doing Void Vaults, for example, where you're not necessarily getting anywhere because the vaults are becoming so hard that you need to start thinking about, like, how do I stack up, like, resistance? How do I stack up extra damage against these specific enemies? How do I optimize the vault itself so that you get extra resources of some kind? All of that stuff. I mean, that means I need to read. Not in the beginning, I wouldn't say so. Like, you literally just, like, look at it. You don't have to do math or anything like that. Like, you can literally just go like, no, I just want a ton. Like, for example, I want a ton of critical chance. Okay, then just make sure that every time you see something that increases critical chance, critical damage, that is the thing you pick. Ultimately, as long as there's no math puzzle, specifically algebra. Oh no, if you get a math challenge, this means if there's any math challenge, any math that needs to be done, send it to Groogy. That is what that means. Okay. I was thinking if we look at, like, I was thinking we look at specifically what kind of classes can we pick. And this is going to be like the last video we'll watch. And this isn't Path of Exile's official channel. This is Italian Spartacus, who is really, really good with these kinds of games. And because there's 6 classes to look at. And we're going to pause in between each class and like talk a little bit about them. And then we're going to get into the game. We're going to see how much time we have to watch all of this. But let's look at the classes. But this is Italian Spartacus. Go check him out. Really, really good when it comes to these kinds of games. Highly recommended if you're looking for guides to games like Path of Exile, what are they called? Bannerlord, stuff like that. Really, really good at it.
Path of Exile 2's early access starts tomorrow, and the floodgates will open on a whole realm of possibilities.
Thank you for subscribing, Max.
With 6 classes to choose from, it can be hard to decide which class is right for you. So in this video today, I'm going to cover all of the information of each class on a high level to help you decide which one to play on Friday. If you're a veteran of Path of Exile and you've been watching tons of content up to this point, you will find nothing new in this video. I want to be respectful of your time and be transparent up front. Before we get started, let me just say that there is no best class right now, and no one really knows how any of these classes will truly play. This is early access, and everything is going to drastically shift throughout the year or so of this process, with 6 more classes coming by the time we hit launch. This video will not tell you the best or the worst. I'll simply be explaining the classes so you can play what you like the most. Fuck off what the internet says and enjoy the game however you want. Maybe you don't enjoy your first class.
Big news.
Really? Ads? Ads? No ads for you guys. There we go.
Pivot to another one once you learn the mechanics. That's fine. Just take
That's
it
why I
at
pay
your
for
own
premium.
pace.
We'll
If you're new to
100% do
ARPGs
that.
or this game as a whole, you'll have more
When I
than
get
enough
paid a little bit
chances
more
to
from
play
YouTube.
everything multiple times over. You can go ahead and navigate to
So
any
you
part
can
of
pay
this
for their
video
own
that interests
for
you
giving
most
me premium.
using the chapters in both the timeline and the description. And if this video ended up helping you, please don't forget to like, comment, or subscribe, as that does help me out in a huge way.
Go help
Lastly,
them
I'll
out
be
if you
streaming
like
this
this.
game on my Twitch, where I'll be giving away my extra early access keys, as well as plenty of other stuff on launch on Friday. You can find a link to that below. Let's get started here on which class is right for you in Path of Exile 2. So as we jump into this, let's start off with the best way to actually build.
Sorry. Empress wrote a big message here. My problem with the trailers is that they make the game look so cool and good, but the gameplay always disappoints me. I'd much rather they showed the gameplay from the start, so I see what the game looks from the start. Yeah, 100%. And I think that we see a lot more of that in this kind of video. But yeah, like, and of course, like, you're gonna watch me stream the game for a few hours. You are going to get to see some of the stuff, so it's fine.
Build out a character. And it just follow 3 cardinal rules. The first one is you're going to select your ascendancy first. Every single class in early access has 2 ascendancies. In launch, they will have 3. So when the game fully launches, you'll have 12 total classes to choose from, with 3 ascendancies per class. Ascendancy is really the only thing that matters when it comes to selecting your class, because outside of that, the only thing that's different is where your class will start on the passive skill tree. Everyone uses the same passive skill tree. Only specific classes have access to specific ascendancies, which then drastically change the way you play the game. If you're coming from like a Baldur's Gate, think of an ascendancy as a subclass, more or less. You're going to be playing this class however you want, but the ascendancy adds a specific flair in a certain direction for certain abilities. Take the Pathfinder, for example, for the Ranger. This makes it so you can take advantage of concoctions and do a lot of poison damage, give you a lot more movement speed, or maybe, you know, the Gemling Legionnaire for the Mercenary. Now you're going to have a whole bunch of benefits towards skills. Whatever those ascendancies are, focus on that first. You'll choose that and go, okay, that ascendancy looks really cool. I like the Infernalist. Okay, that means I have to make a Witch first. Then you're going to decide your weapon sets and skills. Now, you don't need to actually choose which skills you want. What I mean more is, you know what? I want to be a character that uses a mace. I want to be a character that uses a crossbow, a spear, a bow and arrow. Focus yourself around the weapon set, because that's going to be agnostic to the class you select, because you will choose weapons.
Oh yeah, they've expanded on the gem
allow
system.
You to choose whatever skill.
Because now you can use gems
choose those things for yourself.
The passive skill tree combined to create cross-class play.
Again, that uses bow and arrows and whatever it is. Just choose those things for yourself. And then lastly, one thing you should focus on is a defense or damage mitigation of whatever type you want. Maybe it's evasion, maybe it's dodging out of the damage, maybe it's using energy shields, maybe it's using a shield itself, like an actual physical shield in the warrior. Whatever it is, you want to make sure you have one of these online. Every time you progress through one act, you will...
Sorry, Rock and Roll Aries, welcome to chat. You just happened to see we're live, so I want to pop in and say thanks for satisfactory videos. I stumbled upon your channel recently, and those videos have taught me a lot. Awesome, I'm really happy to hear that. Thank you so much, Aries. And if you do like Path of Exile, then definitely this is also a stream for you. So we're going to be streaming Path of Exile 3 when it releases in early access in 20 minutes. Rock and Roll Aries is a great freaking name, yeah. Made me rethink my approach to the game. Awesome, that's even better. That feels like I've had a great impact. Most of the stuff that I share is because I've ran into those walls and I've had to overcome them myself, so I just want to share some of the stuff without people having to have such a hard time.
Or you will get a 10% penalty to your resistance. So having some sort of actual damage mitigation button or focus in your character is absolutely crucial. This isn't just simply a Path of Exile thing, even though it is a big Path of Exile focus. It's something that you use even when you're playing Diablo. It's typically you want to have one strong movement and or defensive skill on your bar. The same thing is present here in Path of Exile 2. So with those 2 or those 3 rules in mind, let's now break apart each class to help you decide which one to play. And we will start with the one class I am going to play, and it is Warrior. I'm focusing on this because I want to try to make a Death Knight build, but we'll see if that's actually possible. And Warrior is a melee character that's going to be using slower, heavier hitting attacks compared to, say, a Monk, which is much faster, but slower, heavier hitting attacks that build up stun while also summoning up totems to provide additional status effects. The Warrior is really dynamic and cool in the way that warriors typically are. They're usually very one note, but you have this ability that a lot of these big winding attacks will say, hey, I'm going to charge up my mace and then slam it down, but I can change the direction of that at the last minute. Maybe something died, maybe I have a new target, whatever it is. This gives you a lot of really fun mobility built into the warrior, but that's true of any character in the game that is playing melee. You can divert your attention in the middle of your attacks, which is very cool. But warriors also utilize war cries.
Thank you so much, ARGB.
Support. In addition to those war cries get support gems. Every single skill in this game will get a support gem that will modify, add to,
thank you, ARGB.
Reduce the cooldown recovery of, whatever it is. You have 5 gems that you can socket into these skills to make them very dynamic and different. Like you can make it so that the war cry does certain things whenever you do it that would be outside of the purview of the skill on its own, which is a very cool mechanic. Also, the survivability of the warrior is built into their usage of a shield. And the shield in Path of Exile 2, which is unique to ARPGs, it will 100% negate damage that is thrown your way, except for unblockable attacks.
Ads again. God damn it. Is this a solo game like Divinity, Destiny, something Sin? Yeah, Divinity Original Sin. Yeah, you can play this solo. Like I think it's built more solo, but I also think that, like, yeah, I think you can play in parties up to 6 people. Is it 4 or 6? I don't know what it's gonna be for 2. I know that in 1 you can play up to 6 people in a party.
The caveat here, or the trade-off, is that while you're blocking, you will build up a stagger meter, and if that stagger meter reaches the top, then you will be stunned. Just like if you're playing, say, like an Elden Ring or Sekiro or any other kind of, I guess those are typically called action RPGs, but any kind of Souls-like game. Now, the warrior then has 2 ascendancies. The Titan, which does large AoE and single target damage that is burst melee focused. That is the ascendancy if you want to strictly just do a lot more melee damage. Your other ascendancy is Warbringer, which utilizes a lot of utility that is focused on buffing up your actual shield.
It's a live game, yes.
And your war cries. So it gives you a lot more.
It's been confused for an MMO so many times.
You will enjoy the warrior if you like playing the barbarian in any of the Diablo games, or in general just like playing a two-handed or sword and board style of character. Now, I will argue here that the sword and board style of a warrior is going to be different from the future Templar that we get, but still, this is the sword and board style character that you can get right now because you're using a mace and a board. Next up is the sorceress, and this one is
there is a PvP
right? A sorceress
arena,
and a warrior are kind of like old
it's a PvE
right? Like
game.
You think of those on a sheet, it's the same in almost every single game, and that's true here when we're taking a look at Path of Exile 2. We're using an elemental spellcaster focusing on lightning, frost, and fire spells and damage. What's unique here about Path of Exile, though, is that you can combo these things together. Maybe you put down a firewall, and then you use the static ability, and the static charges that go through the firewall now are imbued with fire damage. So you'll be doing a lot of this comboing together with the sorceress, and it's something that the monk does as well.
Okay, sorry. We missed the... Where did the warrior end?
And a board. Next up.
Yeah, okay, here. So I kind of want to play warrior. I'm thinking because how do I put this? I tend to like more survivability, less of like, it takes a lot more brain power to constantly like dodge out of the way and roll and using that kind of stuff. If I can just tank and hit back, I like that a lot more. So it's probably going to be what I play, at least first. It's just, I think that fits me. But I don't know which ascendancy I want to go for. If I want to go for the Titan, or if I want to go for the War, like whatever. I'm thinking I want to go for the Totem builds, which I think is more towards the Jade, whatever they were called. This guy. But yeah, I do like myself the big burly dudes with big weapons.
Next up is the Sorceress, and this one is very straightforward, right? A Sorceress and a Warrior are kind of like Old Faithful, right? Like anytime you think of those on a sheet, it's the same in almost every single game. And that's true here when we're taking a look at Path of Exile 2. We're using an elemental spellcaster focusing on lightning, frost.
But if you want the like you can build them differently, of course, and you can do a lot of cross-class stuff. But the Warrior has a lot of like ground bashes and stuff like that, where you can, for example, create like fissures in the ground, and every time you bash, there are like explosions coming up from the ground. But if you want like the big nuclear weapon kind of build, there is something to be said for the Sorcerer, I think. Sorcerer or like cross-class Sorcerer Monk.
Frost and fire spells and damage. What's unique here about Path of Exile, though, is that you can combo these things together. Maybe you put down a firewall, and then you use the static ability and the static charges that go through the firewall.
Like, this looks cool as absolute hell. Like, if you're a sorcerer and you're like, no, I just want the room to be dead. Ta-da. Like, it's perfect.
Now are imbued with fire damage. So you'll be doing a lot of this comboing together with the Sorceress. And it's something that the Monk does as well, which will be our next thing to talk about. And by doing that, it allows you to chain together these elemental spells in ways that are entirely unlike any other action RPG out there. You can really have a lot of fun focusing on a lightning frost build, or a frost fire build, or a fire lightning build, or whatever combination you really want to lean into. That is what's present here in the Sorceress. Now, the Sorceress has two ascendancies to choose from, with Chronomancer, which focuses on a lot of cooldown recovery, time manipulation, and mobility focused.
He pronounces it too fast here. What he's talking about is the Chronomancer, like literally a time mage, like a time sorcerer. You can literally stop time, reverse time. You can, with a snap of your fingers, remove your cooldowns entirely. That's insane.
Things like spells and skills and abilities. They have got like 3 active skills that they get that will completely shut down time. They'll have them revert back to where they were before with the same health and everything like that. Kind of like Tracer does in Overwatch, where you press her ability and she'll jump back to a previous point with that health that she had at that point. So you get that built into the Chronomancer, which is a lot of fun. And the cooldown recovery too makes it so that your abilities are almost always online, so you can cast tons of spells just rapid fire and like a crazy machine. Your other focus is Storm Weaver. Now, these are skills that focus on increasing your crit damage and your crit chance, and it plays with status effects like shock and chill as well. So if you want to lean into more of a heavy burst style of damage, or more damage as a whole,
what's
on
the
your
limit?
elements,
Why not just age them to
Storm
death?
Weaver is definitely going to be for you, versus Chronomancer,
like,
which is focused
my
more
theory
on
is that the Chronomancer is going to be the broken class. It's going to be the most broken thing in the game.
The Sorcerer, or you'll like the Sorcerer if you enjoy Sorceress from Diablo 2, Wizard from Diablo 3, and Sorcerer from D4. Any type of pure spellcaster character, you're going to really enjoy the Sorceress.
Damn it, more ads.
And both the Monk and the Warrior.
Anything messing with time is usually really difficult to get right. I think you are completely correct on that point, Emperors. Like if they have the ability to revert back with the mana and health that they had in a previous time. So if you just combo that with the cooldown removal, you can essentially take almost all the damage you can, revert back to when you have full health, full mana. With a snap of your fingers, remove your cooldown, then immediately freeze time, so that you have more time for your cooldowns to go down, or your cooldown to go down on your cooldown removal. And then the second you have cooled down or taken too much damage, you just revert again and repeat and repeat and repeat and repeat. Like, that's essentially my guess as to how people are gonna use it. And that feels like, okay, there's not gonna be a pause. You can just continuously just lob fireballs and meteors and lightning storms and strikes and blizzards and shit at people non-stop with nothing to stop you. Okay, let's look at the monk.
You're together in kind of a simple way. We've got the monk. This is a melee character that utilizes high-speed evasion techniques to pivot their character mid-combo or skill to maximize movement while tapping into their elemental abilities. Think Last Airbender monks and not Diablo's spiritual monks. While there are spirit attacks and light-based
this ability, that bell on the screen, that ability basically means that anytime the monk hits that bell, anything within the range of that takes AoE damage. So it's essentially like a continuous AoE strike that they can use.
Airbender
monks. Look how the wave comes off it when it tosses it.
While there are spirit attacks and light-based damage in the monk,
every time there is going to hit everything around it within this area.
Repertoire, you are really focusing on elements more than anything. And it's that huge focus on skill comboing that we talked about earlier and chaining them together for your melee attacks into elemental ones to create explosions and the such. Like you can summon up a frost wall of something and then hit it with your staff and it shoots shards everywhere. Or you can summon a bell, just like you can in Diablo 3 with the monk, and do a lot of really cool things with that as well, chaining together different elemental attacks and damage. Now, our two ascendancies here are Invoker, which is elemental focused ascendancy, giving bonuses to evasion, energy shield, and other elemental focuses to get desired effects, like Elemental Expression is your kind of capstone ability here, which will do a specific element of damage based off of an attribute. So if you want to focus on strength, you'll do fire. If you want to focus on dexterity, you'll do lightning. And if you want to focus on intelligence, you'll do frost. So you get to choose that element you're focusing on and the attribute to get the desired effect. Now, the other one here is the Acolyte of Cholula. Not to be confused with Cholula, one of my favorite hot sauces, but this swaps your elemental effects for chaos damage. You're a dark monk, a chaos monk, and swaps spirit with darkness.
Is this going to be a new Saitama build here, Groogy?
To make a high damage, bursty character with a high risk, high reward play style, because you have to balance that darkness lest you take damage. And it's a really cool style of gameplay that's going to warp how the monk plays, but it seems to be like it's going to be a really fun one. Now, you'll like this class if you enjoy similar to a mix of the D3 monk and the new Diablo 4 Spiritborn, with a focus on elemental damage rather than purely light-based damage. If you've played Diablo 3 and you played monk, think like more of like a seven-sided fist, seven-sided palm attack, whatever it's called, or the Wave of Light monk, but with elements. It's just kind of to make a real easy one-to-one. Moving away from all the melee, let's talk about mercy.
I appreciate that it doesn't only compare to Diablo. Here's a fun part. This class, Mercenary, just from the get-go, this is American, this is a freedom class. Why? Because this class plays as if it's a looter shooter.
Mercenary. Now, Mercenary is probably going to be the most popular class. It's the one that a lot of PoE 1 veterans are very excited for, but it's a range character that focuses on different ammo types to create desired effects such as armor piercing, explosive rounds, etc., all linked to their crossbow. Also comes complete with other support abilities such as grenades and traps. It currently, though, has a big focus on crossbow, but you can expand out to other skills from other classes as
including artillery fire, by the way. As in actual, like, artillery strikes.
you open up more weapon specializations. Remember, no matter what class you choose, you can use...
I think this one is the closest. Empress, if you want to toss nukes, mercenary.
all the skills in the game, you just have to get the weapon spec to do them. And another big thing too is, well, we'll get into this on the end of this section because it's kind of how this character plays and you'll like it if type of thing. But our two ascendancies for the mercenary are Witch Hunter, which is a big focus on doing big upfront damage to healthy targets.
Yes, there are pets. I actually already have 2 of them because of the pack that I bought for the early access. All of the packs that have pets have some kind of Kiwi because the studio is in New Zealand.
It's meaning if they have full health, you'll do anywhere from 5 to I think it's like 30% additional damage, and then you do
No, the bird Kiwi.
your damage is pretty cool. And then you get Culling Strikes, which basically insta-gib anything that has low health. So it just allows you to push through tons of content very quickly, I would think, as we kind of look to see what these skills look like on the Mercenary, on the Witch Hunter.
Like, I just want to say this Torgul the Defiler, this boss, looks cool as all hell.
Overall, though, they're about debuffing and inhibiting in an aura around you to reduce enemy recovery. There's also another thing that gets you 20 more passive points towards weapon set. If you don't know what that means, don't worry about it.
The Overlords,
we
makes
don't really
sense.
know how that.
Those were the
factors into game
emus,
just yet.
and I think that was
If you
Australia.
do know what that means, that's a cool ability. That just means that basically your weapon sets, rather than having 20 points to play with, they've got 40 points to play with, which allows you to go 2 vastly different directions with your weapon sets, which is very fun. Now, your other ascendancy is the Gemling Legionnaire. This is a very straightforward ascendancy that focuses on giving all of your skills buffs more skill accessibility because you can reduce the amount of, it gives you more skill accessibility because you can use your highest stat attribute to access skills you otherwise would not have access to. So for example, if you had 150 dexterity, but something requires 100 intelligence and you don't have that, well, it's going to go off of your dexterity, which is really cool. They give you more skills outright. It just gives you 3 more skills to play around with. And it also gives you the ability to have your support gems give you defense by granting you resistances, and also grants you more attributes from inherent bonuses as well. So it's a really cool ascendancy that doesn't really add a ton of like specific flavor in that, hey, you're going to do more explosive shot damage or more focus on this element. No, it just means
All right, we don't really have time to finish the rest for now. We have 2 minutes left. But the class, if I remember correctly, we've seen what? We saw how many of them were there? So we have the Ranger left, right? Merc is for me, I think. Yeah, I think Merc is for most people. At least that's my impression from how people have been talking about it. But if let's see. We have the Ranger. And then we have the Witch. Witch being like Necromancer, Blood Mage, Poison, debuffs, that kind of stuff. And the Ranger being your typical archer, where you have like Deadeye and Assassin style archer for one ascension, and Pathfinder for the second one. But yeah. Witch looked cute. Which is this one. Very much poison. Like if let's see. like you will be able to have something called spirit in this game where you can pick which minions you want to have summoned, and even better, this is the best quality of life for people who likes the summoner like minion builds. They auto summons themselves once they die, as long as the cooldown is done. You just reserve how much of your maximum spirit you're gonna use for each type of minion or anything. So this is what that looks like. So yeah, look, really cool to build with all of that. But yeah, I'm probably going to build warrior. Okay, Path of Exile 2 seems to be up. Let's try this and see how far we get before I die or the server dies. Oh, I accidentally started DaVinci. That was not my intention. Tell me how this game sounds are. Let's pray you get in. A live video editing. I mean, at some point, if I'm doing a marathon stream, I'm probably gonna need to. Let's see here. Hello, Sleepy. This music goes hard, holy shit. Now, let's see here. Input. Ha. Let's see. I want to save that. Very nice. I can chill. Lean back a little. I don't need to sit by the keyboard. Ooh. An unexpected disconnection occurred. I'm assuming a little bit too many people are maybe logging in at the same time right now. That is my theory. A game theory. No idea what makes you think that. So expand. So expand. Nobody plays this niche game. Look, let's put it like this. How many people are following Minecraft on Twitch? I'm gonna reveal it to you. It's about 270,000 people. There's 3 million people following Path of Exile on Twitch. Mid. Shall we restart here? Because it might be literally that there's like an update or something that needs to happen. I'm just getting rid of any tiny updates that gets in the way. Victoria 3 has a little bit of an update. Colony Survival has a little bit of an update. Dyson Sphere Program has a little bit of an update. Hello? Holy crap. Yeah, Gruger just sent a picture with the Path of Exile 2 having 837,000 viewers right now. There's 41,000 followers there. How are we doing today? We're doing awesome. It's almost 1 million viewers. Yeah, like as far as we know, there was over 1 million people having bought or accessed or redeemed this early access keys. I'm peeking. I'm peeking. Yep. If I do this, you can see what I want. You can see what I mean. And it goes back to that. I have to raise the volume out here to hear you from the computer. Eh. Come on, man. I thought you meant he was peeking with a million. Glad to hear, got a lurk, just got home from 6 days of work. Have fun with Path of Exile. I will. I was like, damn. Soon. Yeah, I don't know what it's downloading. Because I have preloaded the game. I'm honestly just thinking that there are more people playing than people like they were expecting. Let's double check this. Just to make it quite easy to see here. Path of Exile already has 211,000 people playing on Steam, according to SteamDB. The epic music is completely overplaying my own music. Good. Do we have? Find me a gateway. Log in. Oh. I don't even know what it's downloading here. Is it? It's not downloading a lot, if that's the case. Less than 200 kilobytes per second are being used by the network on download. I don't want it to be set to mouse and keyboard. I want this to be set to controller. My controller should be here. Mm-hmm. Yeah, maybe. German servers aren't the best. Let's go for London. Nope. Milan? I mean, they basically said that they prepped for almost, like, I think they said they had servers ready for 1 million players. Some region that might not be overloaded. We rush it now, comrade. Nope. Paris. Nope. Oh, that's hilarious. Let's see. If we can... Bum, 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 bum. Do. If they drop some info. Bum, bum. Oh. Nope. It says your version is 0.1.0, which is weird for our release. I don't know. I'm looking at Steam and it's not telling me that there's an update of any kind. It did an update that was finished at... It did an 83.8 gigabyte update that was ready at... Yeah, it was ready like 20 minutes ago. 20 minutes ago. It did a massive update. Just checked Brokelback's stream and he has the same problem. Yeah. I mean, I kind of assume. Thank you for subscribing, Matthias Amitsburl. I don't know who this is. Who is Matthias Amitsburl? Never met him before in my life. Complete stranger to me. Come on, man. Rando. Say it more Swedish. Matthias Amitsburl. Ew. Doubt. More. Matthias Amitsburl. We can go full on Swedish there with a really Swedish accent, and just he's Matthias Amitsburl. Hacha. Do you want me to just log off? Nope. Oh my god, this is fun. I mean, this is to be expected. Oh yeah, like, I am not annoyed or anything like that. Empress is hogging all the PoE networks and no one can join. Yeah, Empress is killing the PoE servers that were prepped for 1 million players. Is there any build tools I could check out? I don't think so, because we don't have any, like, we don't have the full we haven't actually gotten the full release for the passive skill tree and all that kind of stuff. So like any build tools that do exist is kind of like guesswork and not really accurate in any case, way or form. Like there's a lot of things. This is the early access. Like there has been some like media events and stuff like that. We've seen some gameplay reveals. There's been a big stream they did on the November 21st. Like this, but this is the early access. This is our first, like the public's first access to the game. So like, I basically expected this. I think that them going for like, yeah, we're expecting 1 million players, were them trying to be like, yeah, we're expecting people, but I don't think they were expecting like a third of the Swedish population trying to log in at the same time. And for me, it's just like, I understand server costs are an expensive thing, but in my opinion, you can like shoot high and then scale down instead. It's like like it would be awesome. I think it would be really cool to get to see the numbers, right? In terms of like how many players drop off and don't play the game because their servers are shit. And we made a written. I don't know. I don't have Twitter. I know so many people from work want to play tonight. Yeah. I was like, my question is, how much money do they lose if they went for like prepping for 2 million players instead, rather than like how many people and how much money are they losing on 10%, 15%, 20% players dropping off because they can't get in and don't forget to play, or they had taken the work off to play, or whatever it is, and they're kind of like feel scorned by it. Like that, I thought would be a really cool, like actually comparing what is the expected lifetime earning like potential for one player on average. There are a lot of just in GG or yeah, I like, oh yeah, I'm aware. Like that's why I'm not blaming anyone. I'm just curious. Like if you choose, because they've prepped this for a long time, and they prepped for 1 million players to come online today. So my question is just like, if you have say that like say that you have 3 million people trying to get in at the same time. If they're prepped for 3 million, okay, yeah, sorry, the music is very loud in my ears. I should probably turn it down a little bit. If you have prepped the servers for like 1 million people and lose 10% of 3 million, most likely the login server being a bottleneck, you can scale that up easily. Yeah, that's true. Because once you're in like you're always in an instance, except when you're in the safe zones, the hubs, the shops, and all that kind of stuff. So that's kind of like, but that kind of might like, if you lose, say 300,000 people that would play the game because the servers aren't scaled. Versus, like I'm not talking about the mechanics of scaling it up or scaling it down. Like I don't know anything about that. I'm looking at the pure numbers. If you like, you saw the numbers being sold in terms of like pack access, and you saw how big this was going to be. If they went for like, okay, let's actually scale to 3 million, because if they scale too high, the server costs are astronomical, and they're going to lose money. Because the slots aren't being used. So my question with them would be, if they scale for that and then scale down to the actual player number, what's the cost? What's the loss of that compared to the average earnings potential of a single player? And then if they lose like 10% of like theoretical like 3 million people trying to get in, what's more expensive? Like in no way, shape, or form am I trying to be critical or anything like that or negative. I'm just curious, what are the actual numbers? What's the math in earning and money back and forth there? just because I'm a curious dumbass who likes the number play. I play Satisfactory normally. The good old days when entire Battle.net ran on a junk computer under a desk, no joke. Oh, I remember, because remember when we played Diablo 2 and played all of the custom maps on Warcraft 3 on like Endless Gaming, the internet cafe? Holy crap. That was... Trying to get in sometimes there, where it was like, you had to perform some voodoo. I mean, I've accidentally burned 20,000 euro on servers. For... Are you talking about like for work or like at home? Either way, like really fascinating, because it's like if you burned 20,000 on servers, I hope for work. Yeah. Not gonna say more. It's fine. It's fine. Like it's really fascinating though, because it's like if you burning that much money meant that people had a lot smoother access, so trying to log in didn't become a quit moment for people, and they stayed, or they felt like, ooh, what a smooth release, and they, because releases nowadays are like mostly kind of rough. So then it's like, can you like, if you overcome that, how much goodwill do you get? Is what I'm saying, I guess. And like, I don't know the numbers. I don't have any numbers. I'm not trying to be critical. I'm patient. I'm gonna sit here for hours. My question is, and like, I'm streaming because it's fun to stream and have people to chat with and all that kind of stuff. But if it ultimately turns out like it's just me and my like real life friend sitting here chatting, I'm fine with that too. If not, time for financial advisor intervention. You gain goodwill, but people come back even if servers are crapping out on release. They do. That's what I'm thinking as well, which is like, there is no such thing as a large gaming company today that doesn't just run on plus and minus. Yeah, I mean, I'm just sitting here knitting and enjoying the chatting. Yeah, nice. I can speak a little bit lower, a little bit slower, and try and keep it a little bit soothing as well. Kind of more ASMR like. Might be more cozy then too. We have the sound of rain in the background and some nice orchestral music. Be proud of me, I'm taking down my rig on my own. Yeah, that's the first time. Congratulations. What happened with Diablo 4, I think, is that it kept being bad for longer. Yeah. And to be fair, Diablo 4 releasing after Diablo Immortal. Second. I don't remember. Yeah, that's true. That's very true. Sorry. But yeah. They, like, Blizzard as a company also has zero goodwill left. After everything that's gone on with that company and all the shit that's happened and the time it's taken to get Bobby Kotick out of the place and get that ship somewhat righted on top of the crap monetization scheme of Diablo Immortal. Like, Yeah, she would turn off the internet for her. We have like a mesh router system in the apartment, so that even if she disconnects out there, it's not gonna touch here. I'm hardwired. I looked at the top streams on Twitch. All of them are just in the lobby like you. Yeah. And if they are not like me and can just let up the brake on the mouth stuff, they will just sit there and go like doo. Hundreds of thousands of players looking at that. That's bad, really bad for the company. Yeah, and that's what I mean, right? How expensive is this compared to upping the prepare for 50% more? The server costs on launch is 50% higher, but there's a smoother launch. My question is how much money in the next 2 fiscal years, for example, what are the balance sheets looking like for that? If we take 2 parallel realities, where in one it's like this, and in the other one they scaled for 2 million players instead, and you look at the costs and everything, which one ultimately was more profitable for the company? That's a thought that is in my head, and it's swirling around in there. And if no one can get it in, that's really bad. The thing is that they probably didn't project that many players. They projected for 1 million players. They've been very clear about that. They have scaled their servers for 1 million players. I think people are in. I just think that basically the people that get in are the people sitting like this. That's my guessing. And they started doing that a minute before everyone else. So it's basically a race to who gets to take that one empty spot when someone crashes or logs out. Yeah, macro engage. Yeah. I think they scale the servers for a lot more, but that's not for the default. Yeah, it's the login server specifically. Or it's Steam's servers. I don't think so, because Steam only has 200-something thousand, according to SteamDB. Steam currently shows 288,000 people playing. Someone on SteamDB added a comment on Path of Exile's page that literally says, I'm gonna share screen here so you guys can see it too. This here. It says, "You're all a bit too excited about this game. It's bringing down SteamDB. People just looking at SteamDB is crashing SteamDB." It's not going to be Steam's connection managers. True. I'm trusting you on this. You know, you're in. Both you and Debbie are in the industry and have been there for a lot longer, or having the inside track for a lot longer. I'm trusting whatever you say about this. There are several different types of servers, and they probably missed something. Yeah. We'll see. I really do like that SteamDB got crashed. Steamstat.us. Frankfurt has a high load. London has a low load, or an okay load. That's for Counter-Strike. Everything here is okay. Okay. They might be at fault. Okay. How come? Because I'm looking at Counter-Strike has a high load and everything. This is this is the connection managers. This is Counter-Strike. Yeah, I did that first too. But yeah, everything looks good. But yeah, if people are on Twitter and stuff like that, or whatever the new one is called, blue something, the butterfly. Don't hate me if the cable packing is trash. That's perfectly fine, honey. Like, whatever you do, it's not gonna be worse than the first time we moved down. Like when we moved down. I checked blue, nothing there. Okay. And then there's nothing on Twitter. Nothing yet. No one here uses the Nazi app. That's a good name. I called it X Twitter. I think that's a better name. The artist formerly known as Twitter. I mean, I can sit here and vibe with this music for hours anyway. I have ADHD, I can just go. Eight. Are we counting down? X Twitter, yeah. X Twitter or the artist formerly known as Twitter. That also like works. The baby just throw back rookie. Oh, it took that long to download the banner. And it's a bad gateway. It won't even open. I got a 502 bad gateway when I tried to click the banner. You will be fine in this world, I can tell. Yes. Like, if you, at any given time, see Grookey and punch him in the throat, you've done the world a service. He likes to eat, clean, and fight. Nice. If you remove that middle world, it's me. I mean, as long as the fight is like play fighting. It's sparring and stuff like that. Did Grookey actually die? Give him a wet wipe and he's scrubbing the floors. Damn. That is some early onset child labor going on right there. There was a record change to PoE 2 app in Steam 16 minutes ago. Does that mean you guys are messy enough that a baby is like, Jesus, I gotta help you? His current obsession is doing the dishes. Gonna check what it was. Go right ahead. I mean, probably. We have a toddler, 4 animals, and a lot of ADHD. That, like, here's the thing. That means that either nothing gets cleaned or everything is cleaned. The label of the change is just, I am cat. What does that even mean? Has someone hacked them? Or is someone in the company trolling? We just have a lot of ADHD. And I'm already exhausted by that. Trust me, so am I. But hey, it has gotten shit packed today. Like, the apartment is packed. No, just to obfuscate. Ah, okay. I have moved 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 bookshelves and a few other furniture by myself and packed like 6, 7 boxes today. You've channeled that ADHD like a bamf. Yeah, here's the thing. I know myself well enough that I know what my triggers for hyperfocus is. Which is not normal for people with ADHD to know. It's very rare that you're able to, on purpose, trigger your hyperfocus for the thing that you want to do. I've done that today, and just gone balls to the wall. They might have pushed an update. Let's check. What does Steam say? I am going to exit here. And lol, not me trying to pull a cable out, totally forgets it's an old VGA with the screws. Yeah, because you still have your, like, what, 13-year-old screen, 11-year-old screen, something like that? 16-year-old screen, yeah. Nope, no update. Last update today for Path of Exile 2 was at 7:53 p.m. Start it back up. The resolution on that screen can actually take 1080p. Because we're using HDMI upscaler thingy, like adapter, whatever. That's the screen, and I kid you not, that's the screen. Verifying integrity. Okay. Verifying integrity. Properties. Verify integrity. Verifying integrity. There, you guys can look at that. Look at that. You can see here, you can see very clearly that this hard drive is not happy. It's just a sad, distressed smiley. This is the screen that you played. You managed to get a 1 KDA ratio on PlanetSide 2 at like 15 FPS with. It's that screen. Because you remember, Groogy, you helped us because we bought Empress a new screen, right? And we connected that up and everything, and we tried to get that. I managed to get it to 30 one time. It was like a whole new experience, yeah. And then we got you a new screen. That screen, I think it's this literally the screen that I have here, which is my second screen. That screen gave you like what's supposed to have like a DisplayPort thing, and what yeah, you helped us figuring out how the DisplayPorts worked and like how to actually set the screen refresh rate to 144 hertz and like all that kind of stuff. You helped us with all of that kind of stuff. But before then, she played PlanetSide 2 with like, yeah, like you said, you got it to 30 FPS because the chat helped you with the settings. You got to a 30 FPS, but you already had a 1.0 like kill death assist ratio in PlanetSide 2. A game where if you have a 1.0 like KDA, you're good. You're like good. I'm still like, that is still baffling to me. That is impressive as hell. The reaction of chat when they learned the FPS I had is a core memory. Gaming on 30 FPS in 2024. Nah, like remember, like she streamed this back in, what was that? Like 2018? 2017, 2018, 2019? Should be in a museum. Yep. But even then, when display ports were becoming the norm and like 144 hertz like update, like refresh ratios, and like 1440p was becoming a thing and like all that, I've had a longer relationship with this screen than I've had with my family. Ooh, the burn. Hate that you can't cancel verify. Used to enough to start and cancel to force updates. Yeah. I mean, if something's wrong, it's like it's good to catch it, right? So I'm fine. Yowza. I mean, it's a deserved burn. I think it's good. Set them on fire, for all I care. Do you want to watch the which class walkthrough? Debbie and Empress. You can see what that's all about while we wait. I could also say that this screen has helped me more than they ever had, but I'm not gonna. No, definitely don't say that. Except you just did. All right. So let's jump in here. How much do you want to bet? The second I click play, an ad is going to start.
If you have, let's say, 100 spirit and it costs you 50 reserve for all of your summons, then you only have 50 spirit, being better at bow and arrow as an archer. Then the Pathfinders are other ascendancy, and it's a heavy focus on the map pretty quickly with that cool stacking movement speed. You'll enjoy this class if you like playing bow in Dragon's Dogma 2. A lot of very similar skill styles, like even some of them look like a 1-for-1 conversion. Like there's an ability in Dragon's Dogma 2 where you jump evade.
There is the ad. At least it's for a game this time, so I'm just gonna skip it.
Once told me.
Evade and shoot behind you. It's Ranger has a skill that's like almost exactly like it.
Gruger's
and any of the archer builds from Diablo 4's Rogue, it's going to play very similar to the way that the Ranger is going to play in Path of Exile 2. And our last class is the Witch. This is the current summoner in Path of Exile 2. It's a heavy focus on chaos, curses, and of course, summoning. But here's a really cool thing about how they're approaching this in PoE 2. Summoning this time around is automatic. It's pulled from your spirit currency to summon up the max allotment of summons. What this means is it's catered to your choosing. So maybe you set a max of 3 mages and 4 warriors, or a mix in some zombies, or skeletal clerics and reapers, whatever it is.
Depending on if you're like
this frees you
good
up
alignment
to spend
or
more
evil
time
alignment.
casting spells and less time summoning. You don't have to keep constantly looking at what your summon meter is at. I realized I lost one of my mages,
can't
or I
unscrew
lost
them
one
at
of
the
my
same time
warriors,
as
or
I'm
what
holding
have
them.
you.
That's fine.
The
Just leave
game
them for
automatically
now. We're gonna
resummons
take care of them tomorrow
up
morning.
to
Then.
your spirit max. It uses the spirit not necessarily as a currency like it would for your mana. It uses it by capping it off, right? It creates a reserve of it. So if you have, let's say, 100 spirit and it costs you 50 reserve for all of your summons, then you only have 50 spirit that you can access outside of it, if that makes sense.
Gonna go behind you, but you don't
Path of
need to
Exile 1
remove the
veterans,
face. I
the
just go.
permanent summons from the witch do not use corpses. They only use spirit. Anything that's temperate, because you'll have some temporary summons that are like, oh, you like Unearth does temporary summons. Those will need corpses to be utilized. Our 2 ascendancies for which, though, are the Infernalist, which focuses on demonic pacts to outright turn you into a demon and leverage your health to give you more spirit, mana, or energy shield, as well as converting your damage to fire and chaos. You also get the ability to summon an Infernal Hound, which is nice, but don't look at this as a summoner-focused ascendancy. It's definitely not. It's definitely more focused on being a literal demon. You'll change into a succubus, which is pretty sick. Now, your other ascendancy is the Blood Mage, which utilizes your health to cast spells rather than mana and focuses on a lot of crit chance and crit damage, as well as increased energy shield effects and efficiency. Their curses also last longer, and their spells leech life. So you will enjoy playing the Witch if you like playing any summoner in any ARPG. I mean, this is the Necro through and through, right? But also it could be pretty much any other summoner from last epoch or what have you. So at that, it brings our video here to a close. Again, we just went over everything on a high level, and now you hopefully have a better understanding of how these classes are going to actually play in the game, rather than just, here's the entire list of skills, here's a passive skill tree. If you're brand new to this game, brand new to this genre, that's a very daunting thing to look at.
Pew pew.
Instead, I just wanted to break out how this class should hopefully focus, assuming you are just choosing the skills that the class starts with. And what I mean by that is, a warrior starts with a mace, a witch starts with a wand, a monk starts with a quarterstaff, mercenary starts with a crossbow, ranger starts with a bow, so on and so forth. Which means then that they start with those skills as the natural progression for that character. But you can be a ranger that uses a mace if you want. You can be a witch that uses a bow and arrow, like I said before. Whatever you want to do and whatever skills you want to leverage, you can build into them as you see fit. So this, again, just gives you some direction to how things will work on just a base level without getting too crazy custom.
Okay, so Groogy, this is the end game. This is the Atlas. And you kind of like build out and you kind of have to traverse across this. So anytime you succeed in a node or a map, it becomes green. In which case you can connect and you can take this and you can travel between these points to get to the next part, right? But if you die, they turn in one of these challenges, they turn red, and that's a permanent lock. But this world, this Atlas world, is infinite and ever expanding and ever changing. And you can, the more advanced you get, the more you can customize your experience here using different craftable, like they're called waystones, not maps in Path of Exile 2. And there's like different like special events, like, oh, you can see over here, this is a rift event where you like rip open a tear in Fabric of Reality. You can customize these experiences and stuff like that. Made me think of tower defense. Yeah, like you're not wrong in terms of like tower defense, but it's more like tower offense. Like you're attacking places more or less. You're like cleaning out evil and corruption and that kind of stuff to loot and find new cool gear and level up and find, like, some of these places gives you permanent bonuses and stuff like that when you unlock them. So like they're really, really good to like play around here to make your character powerful without necessarily leveling it up.
Custom, bespoke, whatever the hell word you want to use right now. into this build process. And hopefully now you have a little bit of an idea of how to approach this. Choose your ascendancy, find what kind of weapon makes sense for you, and then figure out a defense to make you or allow you to survive in the increasing difficulty from act to act, and you're good to go. Experiment, have fun, fail a whole bunch of times because it's early access and none of it matters. It's not going to get wiped, but it's all going to be put into its special early access season after the game launches, where you can access the character, but you can't put any of the stuff onto the characters that you make after early access launches. So, or early access concludes.
I don't know games.
So just
I work with an engine.
Treat this entire time as a point to learn the game and the mechanics. And I think you'll enjoy it and you'll actually stick with it more than trying to do the best thing and just end up faltering because it's so convoluted in the initial approach. And if you have any tips, you're a Path of Exile expert, and you know what? Hey, I've played 500, 600, 7,000 hours, whatever it is. Let it be known in the comment section below. This is what people are saying. This is what people are recommending against and what have you. Because this way people can break into the game and have fun and stay long-term rather than breaking into it and bouncing off immediately. But as always, guys, thank you so much for watching here today. Have a good one and take care.
But yeah, if you like Italian Spartacus, if you don't already follow or like whatever you want to see that is like guide-wise for games like this, Italian Spartacus has been my go-to for like 5-6 years back. So it's a really good channel, really good guy. Oh yeah. These are only 6 of the classes. They're gonna release twice as many. Good thing is that I don't know how they're gonna do in Path of Exile 2, but in Path of Exile 1 you can create 24 characters for free. So many people are looking at Chronomancer, Warriors. To blend the warrior and monk together. We have the monk. It's probably important to emphasize even more that every class can do the same stuff. You can have mercenary casting spells or a witch with a sword and board. The class just determines your unique ascendancy passives and starting on the passive tree, so it leans towards a certain playstyles. But you're encouraged to find creative builds and aren't forced to play a certain way based on your class. So essentially, play however you want, like whatever you find more comfortable and more fun, play that, do that. Warrior and monk, wonk. Yes. I'm currently playing a witch in Path of Exiles 1, and god do I love the minion changes in Path of Exiles 2. Having to constantly swap between summon skills and damage skills is just so tiring, and that paired with me being a new player, and additionally having the situational awareness of a tumbleweed. Hey, this is for you, Empress. This comment is for you. Even their web page is down now. Yeah, I got that before. Hello, Matthias. How are you doing? You said you were feeling sick? Are you sure you should be helping us move tomorrow if you're feeling sick? But yes, if you have the situational awareness of a tumbleweed, the updated minion stuff with Witch for Path of Exiles 2 is definitely for you, Empress. Hint, hint. Nudge, nudge. These changes, however, have convinced me to stick to Witch in Path of Exiles 2. Yeah. My traditional go-to character archetype in any ARPG is Bow Wielder, but Chronomancer is a unique enough concept that it makes me want to try it first. In any case, with the limited content and the projected length of early access, which is 6 months, by the way, Keep you posted if anything changes. Nice. Thank you. I have been in the game for a little bit and tried. I'm currently verifying my files to see if I can force like an update to happen. It has concluded, and it just did a update. So let's go into the game again and try. Oh. Yeah, I'm sick, I'm afraid. Will not be able to join, I'm afraid. Wife is staying home too. Let's cross our fingers. No, at least it loaded this a lot faster now. Nope. Unexpected disconnection occurred. Yeah, of course, she's getting whatever I'm having. Ah, crap. Oh, and here, like, Groogy, Matthias is actually joining you in the Irresponsible Adults Getting Children Club. Thank you for subscribing, Brimstone. Still not working. Oh, I know that Matthias would have just forgotten entirely to tell. Knowing Matthias. Like, both of them would just have shown up, like, for the first, meeting each other for the first time in years, just going like, oh, bam, boom, damn, kids. And Empress, are you really the one to be saying that, considering what you did when Matthias wanted to tell Jovan? Matthias and Jovan came over here. Matthias wanted to tell Jovan the good news. Empress breaks the news to Jovan instead of Matthias. That was hilarious, seeing like the realization on your face that Jovan didn't know, and Matthias smile when he realized what was going on. It was Baby breath smells of food and cat poop and cat food at the minute. Just baby things. It was a good zinger comment. I couldn't hold it back. I blame Matthias for that habit. I mean, Matthias does, like, he definitely is the kind of person that just like has to be burned by words. I swear, the cadence of the rain sounds in the background specifically is like the rain hitting the windowsill very nicely, like making me go like... The music is kicking ass though. Still not getting in. We keep reading some comments. IGN dropped a review. They basically said, we would have reviewed the game if we could play it. Or, what's up? Oh yeah, you sent me the thingy. Let's look at it. Yeah. Okay, so people here are already... No, I don't want notifications. People are already going for the spreadsheet. Okay, and saying goodbye to their loved ones for the foreseeable future. Nice. I'm Travis Northup. Isn't that the same person who reviewed the Alien Isolation? I think so. A game which already consumed my life since it came out a decade ago. I mean, that's fair. But if you had spent some of that time actually learning how to play Alien Isolation, you might have given that a fair review. I don't trust your opinion, dude. He basically gave it a bad review because the game wasn't for him and he played badly. Like, really badly. Many of the usual early access janks caveat, as in we can't play it right now. Serious stingy loot drops right now. I think that's way better than what happened in... What's it called? It always feels weird to read reviews from people that start with a sequel to one of my favorite action RPGs of all time. Yep. No, it definitely isn't. It definitely isn't fair. 100%. Like, here's the thing though, with stingy loot drops, that means that there's not a lot of loot drops, which is better than what they had in what's it called? The game that was released by BioWare, the sci-fi game. That was like really like, it was okay to play, but it was not good. What was it called? What was it called? Anthem. That was the name. Like, because in that game, I kid you not, I had maxed out my gear like 10 hours into that game. My level, my gear, I'd finished the main quest line, I was in the end game, playing the end game level stuff. That, by the way, took like 3 hours to complete. And I'd maxed my gear out so fast. And you basically, like, if you went out to grind for gear, you needed to do a quest line like 2 times. Or like a boss 2 times. And then you had full sets, full everything, like max everything out. I would rather have things be a little bit stingy and then balance up, rather than just go like, okay, no, here's all the crap, and then try to balance the economy. Because remember, there's a market as well for all this stuff. So I would rather have it be stingy and then balance it upwards. Paul, the genre's usual tendencies, you're gonna expect gross-looking bosses, teleporting back to the town setup for your spoils roughly every 2 minutes due to your insanely small inventory space. Yep. It's called inventory management. Get good, scrub. Like, that's the same thing, right? If you've played so much of Path of Exile 1, why are you picking up everything? I can understand a new player going like, I don't know what's good and what's not, so I'm going to pick up everything. If you're not a new player, why are you picking up everything? Stop picking up everything. Just pick up what's important. Or valuable. It's called inventory management. Inventory management just is not try to pick and save everything in one go. No, it's pick what not to pick up. It's presently unfinished state, and it takes 60 hours of battling your way through the first 3 acts of the campaign. This early access Metacritic is 85 plus. But I might need it. Yes, and like that's my point. If you're a new player and you don't know if you might need it or not, that's fine. But if he's played a Path of Exiles 1, he said like a game which already consumed much of my life since it came out a decade ago, you know what you want. Just based on 5 reviews though. We're gonna see more. It's gonna grow up. But like if you play that, inventory management is just about us. I just like to hoard things. That's fine. Like it just means that you need, like, one of the things that you need to hoard is portal scrolls, so you can easily get back to town, drop stuff off in your stash. You might even need to, like, in early access, you get like with the smallest pack for $30, you get 300 points that you can buy more like bank tabs, like stash tabs with, so you can hoard however much you want. So like it's literally just like your personal inventory when you're out is very small. So and because it has this grid-based inventory system, it means like whatever you can like Tetris into that grid is what you can carry. And when that runs out, go back, drop off, go back again, because that portal scroll takes you back to the exact same point that you left. So you can just keep going. Now they're not official, since it's early access. Take with a truckload of salt. Like, I don't trust the reviews at all, because, like, in my opinion, the way that reviewers go about reviewing games is more for the developers. Like, it's criticisms and feedback meant for the developers, and not so much for you as a consumer and player, because it's going into things that are completely irrelevant to you as a player, unless it's like, hey, this game is broken, which is obvious to the player too, right? They can watch anyone playing the game, streaming it on release day or anything like that, and see, oh, game broken, not buy. But like if you see someone going out like, yeah, well, this and this, like the for example, talking about like frame stutters, talking about screen tearing, talking about, no, I'm talking about game reviewers in general, or like professional reviews in general. Like, reviewers used to be, like, if you take a food critic, they went out, they ate at a restaurant, they came back, they wrote, food good, eat here, thumbs up. Or food not good, don't eat here, thumbs down. Now the food critics write a review that the only person who can only people that understands the review are people that cook. Like the professionals, the language being used and everything. Like, the reviews are no longer for the consumers. It's for the providers. It's for the developers. It's for the cooks, the chefs. So for me, like, reading reviews and stuff like that, it's like, I'm fascinated with the industry, because it feeds one of my biggest hobbies. It's how they keep their job, sounding highbrow to their boss. Yeah, but regardless, also most likely pay by the word. I don't know what makes you think that. Like, I have no idea. But yeah, it's really funny when I'm just gonna say one thing here. It takes about 60 hours of battling your way through the first 3 acts of the campaign. Once again, this guy is not necessarily good at games, because the developers, through extensive testing, specifically one test group being veteran players and one test group being new players, completely new to Path of Exile. The people new to Path of Exile, with no guidance, have been able to complete the campaign in 25 hours. And the people that are veterans were faster. What the hell was he doing? I mean, everyone has their own skill level. Yes. And his skill level is still at the tutorial. I mean, it might be that he just forgot to press the level up button on his skill level. Oh, but like this guy specifically, like he's a joke when it comes to, like, he claimed that Alien Isolation was too hard and that he was randomly killed with no chance to defend himself. Meanwhile, he was literally showing footage of himself sitting like he was sitting in the like hidden. With that in mind, I'll take at least 120. Yeah. Hello, Christian. How are you doing? Like he was sitting hidden in event, right? And everyone who knows Alien Isolation, you know, the alien, the xenomorph, is attracted by sound, and your little scanner, your little radar, beeps. Meaning, he thought he was hidden, but it heard him. And he complained that the game was too hard, and he felt like he shouldn't have lost as much as he did. He literally sucks at the game and claims that the game was bad because the difficulty was too much. He's just bad at the game, and the game wasn't for him. It doesn't pander to his personal interests. And he just, I think, I don't remember, but he gave the game like a 6 out of 10, something like that, or a 4. Like, I don't remember what was. I'm gonna look it up. No one's in. Yeah. No one's in. Grugi has checked. No one's in. But yeah, sorry, I was gonna check. IGN Alien Isolation review score 5.9 out of 10. Meanwhile, the ultimate rating on Metacritic was a 79. And I think that IGN was on one of the few that were like, nah, this sucks. Pretty much everyone else is like, this game kicks ass. He said something like the alien is scripted wrong because it kept finding him even though he was hiding, paraphrasing. Yes. Which is like mind-blowing to me. So, I have no trust in this guy whatsoever. Like, if he enjoyed the game, if he gave it a good score, thumbs up. But 60 hours to get through the first 3 acts, I don't think that's accurate unless he deliberately, like, either he's really bad at this game too, but it's more pandering to his style of game, or he has been like playing through a map, going back, letting everything respawn, and then playing through the same map again and again and again to kind of like grind out levels or something. So needless to say, Path of Exile 2 doesn't like rock the storytelling boat. It's not supposed to. It sticks with the usual tale of horrifying abominations which threaten to destroy the world and immortal beings treating mortals as pawns. But that doesn't mean it's boring or without the occasional twist and turn. Getting to know the cast of characters and unraveling the otherworldly culture and history featured in each act is a particular highlight. I grew quite fond of Alva, a treasure hunter who loves adventure almost as much as she loves making quick exits whenever danger shows up. And getting to know the Marraketh, a brutal group of desert survivalists, nomads, was very compelling. And yeah, you do a programming project in Excel. You should meet Kavya from Grugi's server. Boop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop-a-doop. Each class offers a unique way to play. Yeah, for using keyboard, you actually have WASD movement choice here. Which is great because in this game you can move and shoot at the same time. Let's see, what does it say here? Similarly, there was a few options to take middling items and leveling them up with new perks and higher rarities to improve your chances. These don't come close to fixing how anticlimactic loot drops often feel. You'll likely find yourself using your best items long after you've leveled them beyond them for sheer lack of alternatives. None of this should come as a surprise from fans of the first Path of Exile, as loot has always been hard to come by there as well, but it's really something I thought Grinding Gear might address in this follow-up. No. Like, one of the big things has been that it's not easy. Like, when we struggle to achieve something and then achieve it, it is worth more. Don't remove that struggle. One of the big things about Path of Exile and ARPGs in general is when you have fought to achieve something, you feel like that was worth something. And when you tell other people playing the game that, hey, I was able to build this build or get this set, like the social clout is there as well. Don't take that away. In my opinion. Yeah, well, your book has no value. I mean, we haven't played, so we don't know. Like, might be that we come in and like it's like way worse than like Path of Exile 1. Then okay, like turn it up a little bit, maybe, but definitely shouldn't be like some like Korean cell phone like MMO where you log in and just get like, here's a whatever loot you need to beat the next boss, just conveniently placed at this exact level, so you can just run through with no challenge and no threat of death at all, no skill level from you as a player needed at all. Like, there's a reason why Elden Ring and Souls-like games have gotten such a massive boost, and like Baldur's Gate and stuff like that. Like, it takes time and energy and effort. If you plan to jump in at launch, hopefully you'll really enjoy your first playthrough. Path of Exile 2's first 3 campaign acts, because right now you'll have access to give them a second go if you want to reach the endgame content. That's because instead of finishing all 6 acts for the early access build, Grinding Gear focused on the first 3 and wisely directed the rest of its attention to fleshing out the endgame so that it can be finally honed for the full launch. That was a smart choice, generally speaking, but instead of letting you beat the first half of the story and immediately advance the post-campaign grind, it instead makes you play through the whole thing twice, with no changes in the second run aside from scaled-up enemy levels, before finally granting you access to the endgame. Even though I enjoyed the story, playing it all again, back-to-back, just to reach an arbitrary character level, left a bad taste in my mouth and makes things unnecessarily repetitive at the moment. Are you sure? Are you sure you liked Path of Exile 1? Are you sure? Because I'm pretty sure you have to fight the same boss like 50 times to get the gear you want. What are you talking about, man? Let's see. It's especially weird that the second run called Cruel Mode isn't actually harder. In fact, it was a whole lot easier since I knew what was coming and had a far stronger build. Yeah, well, it's an ARPG. It's supposed to be a bit of a power fantasy too, right? And the creative director literally said in an interview, Cruel Mode is probably going to be faster for people to play through because now they know what's coming. But they've also dialed up so you get higher level rewards for finishing it the second time. So it's not like you stop progressing. You still level. Like the entire thing is that the second playthrough, like the Cruel Mode playthrough, is supposed to take you from level 45 to 65. And then endgame starts. That makes the whole second playthrough pretty monotonous. Couldn't they have just boosted our characters and equipment to the pro? Ah, yes. Ah, okay. So what we see here is they wanted level boosters instead. That sounds a lot like microtransaction pay-to-win stuff that they want in the game. We're just gonna make you skip half of the game in terms of progress and effort. But everyone after early access is done, they don't get that. Oh wait, to make that fair, they then have to provide that possibility for them too. And how do you do that? Microtransactions, level boosters. Immediately breaking their own rule of not having anything pay to win. So, can't do that. Can't do that, man. Thankfully, once you do manage to progress into the end game, you're in for a good time. Path of Exile 2 is surprisingly fleshed out on this front, despite being quite unfinished. The main course is the Atlas, a massive procedurally generated map that lets you explore nodes to reach objectives, including mysterious merchants, hidden boss fights, and more surprises lying in wait. It's kind of like Diablo means Super Mario World's overworld map in the best way. While very similar to the original's endgame, this version expands and improves on virtually every aspect and has been a complete blast to explore. I've likely only just scratched the surface after more than a dozen hours in it. Does that count to your 60 hours? Does your second playthrough in Cruel Mode count to your 60 hours that you were talking about before? Any progress on the Axis? Let's see. I have to sit like this so that fans chill the fuck out. That was funny though. This laptop, man. Mm-hmm. I'd return it if I could at this point. Yeah. Like, either something is like wrong with that laptop specifically, or that model was just not like holding up the way that it was promised to. We need to put the baby to sleep. Good luck. Thank you. The realm is currently down for maintenance. Ah, okay. We actually got a new message here. Pretty sure it's the model because it has no races and some of the vents are on the underside. Yeah. The realm is currently down for maintenance. I mean, so it gets super hot immediately. At least we're getting a new message. Matthias, if you're still in chat, can you check if you, or can someone check if there's any info on like Twitter or Blue or anything like that? If we have anything. As far as I can tell, there's nothing there. Like, I think that the servers are down for maintenance because they're trying to update them. Get them to work. Our robust game comes with early access, serving through the minor stuff like frame rate hiccups to the extremely infuriating. Let time a patch removed all the skill gems, support gems, and the best weapons from my inventory, all but destroying my build and forcing me to grind much of it back. Per usual, I recommend waiting to hop in if you're the type of person to throw their controller out the window when things don't work as intended. Hey, I've been playing thousands of hours of early access games that have had way worse things than just stuff disappearing from your inventory. Can vanish in an instant. I mean, that just means I get to play more. If like here's it, like I get back to this. Like I get back to this all the time. If you like a game, what's wrong with having to play more of it? Honestly. If you feel like, oh no, now I'm further from completing the game so that I don't play it anymore. Do you really like the game? Or do you just like the feeling of finishing the game and moving on? Like, I understand there's a different thing you need to think about if you're a reviewer. You have to move on and make reviews for other games, but still. It's a testament to how good everything else is that these issues didn't completely turn me off from continuing to play. It's also worth mentioning that Path of Exile 2 already looks and sounds much better than its predecessor, even if it still doesn't look nearly as good as a AAA cohort like Diablo 4. So it's a notable visual upgrade, but nothing that blew my socks off. Well, Minecraft is still the most sold game in the world and the most played game in the world for a reason. Not for the graphics. Because solid mechanics and a game that is really good at what it is will do more than pretty pixels. Graphics are important. I'm not saying it's not. I'm just saying it's not what makes a game good. Verdict. At its early access launch, Path of Exile 2 is already shaping up to be the sequel we've been waiting for. Everything from the refined fundamental action RPG gameplay to the surprisingly fleshed out endgame has seen major improvements. And the half of the story we've got so far shows plenty of promise, even if this setting feels a little generic in the realm of dark fantasy worlds. The downside of playing in early access, though, is that you'll have to slog through all 3 acts twice to reach the endgame. The loot game needs some major tweaking to more consistently reward us with usable items. Don't agree with that, just on an outset. Like, it has to be really bad for this to make sense. I have a feeling it's more down to nitpicking. And some mild to severe technical wonkiness might take the wind out of your sails if things go awry, but it's nothing that makes me concerned for the future of this expansive sequel. Even while we wait for 1.0 patch, Path of Exile 2 is already a stellar way to lose dozens of hours and a clear leap forward for the series. And it was rated with an 8. Do I have a lamp here that's blinking? And the whole touchscreen function where you turn the screen 180 degrees is shit for the same reason. It gets super hot because you're once again blocking the vents. Yeah. I'll see if I can find something. Though Path of Exile 2 was supposed to launch at 2 p.m. ET, 2 p.m. extraterrestrial. As I write this, the game is still offline. Published 26 minutes ago. Website is still down. Yeah, and the game was shown as currently there's even more people now. 357,000 players. Twitch stats, there's almost 1.2 million people. It's it's literally the most sold game right now. How does it have 116 positive reviews? Like it's not on our end. Like it's not on my end at all. It's there. Like no one can get in. Like that there are 357,000 players is literally just that they have done this. That's it. Now it says that I'm playing too. Now I'm one of those 357,000. Doesn't mean that I'm actually in the game. Connecting to the login server, an unexpected disconnection occurred. Authenticating user, come on! They've written that they've deployed a new database configuration. Ah, okay. There is something happening now. It takes longer connecting to login server. Authenticating user. Am I getting in? Damn. Come on. Their authentication is happening now, at least. I'm gonna double check again, getting closer. I'm gonna double check that there isn't like well, that's perfect timing. We're literally moving out tomorrow and the lamp in the kitchen has started blinking now. Let's see here. Path of Exile, properties, installed file, verify integrity. We're doing this again. Well, yeah. Let's look at reviews. Someone has literally written a review that says, like it's a positive review, that says, an unexpected disconnection occurred. Still having more fun than Diablo 4. Can't even get into that game, but the login screen is already better than Diablo 4. Things to do before playing Path of Exile 2. Go grocery shopping. Block friends and family from texting or phoning you. Take your weekly shower. Okay, that's a problem. Bi-daily at least. Make sure you have enough time for your 16-hour long sessions. 1,000+ hours later and it will be worth it. If it's not worth it within the first 2 hours, game's not good enough, dude. An unexpected disconnection occurred. Clearly, we can gather two things from this. 1. Diablo 4 bad. 2. This is the greatest game of all time. Everyone's basically going with the same memes. Staring at the logging screen for the past 30 minutes and still more fun than Diablo 4. The best Exile-like game of all time, and that means a lot of different things. Yep. I'm gonna go turn that lamp off, because it is distracting me as hell. And let's see if we can see. No. You can look at the percentage thing go up while I do that. It's fine, I turned it off. Do we have any more fun? Someone literally just reviewed the entire review was literally just about the login screen. The main menu music has a nice X-Men 3 vibe to it. I would definitely recommend. On the flip side, the error message writer should think twice next time, because unexpected disconnection occurred rings false and pretentious, even to greenhorns. This is exactly what we expected. Other than that, the menu has some great options you can turn on and off. Loading it up and exiting goes smoothly. 7.6 out of 10. I mean, it's really funny. Can I? I really want to know how they came to that 0.6 score. I mean, maybe they aggregated, like they made a point of each part here. Like, the music is one part, the error message writer or the like unexpected disconnection occurred is the second part, and menu has some great options you can turn on and off. That's the for like third part, and then loading it up and exiting goes smoothly. That is the fourth part. So if they're like 10, 6, whatever, and then they like average that out, they get 7.6. That's how I assume they did. Like, they seem very professional. What? Someone put in a negative review here that said, a game like my Talala, while charging minimum $30 from 1 million people, they only upgraded the servers at the last second, which is why, as Jonathan said, we are in this situation now. As Ferguson's put it, it turned out to be truly Diablo-like. I mean, you were in the minority. Most people says it's better than Diablo 4. I haven't played Diablo 4, but I assume so. Try London. Let's go. We're gonna be werewolves in London. Oh, FPS on the stream dropped a lot when it loaded. Here we go. Oh. Connecting to login server. Authenticating user. Holy crap. But okay, I'm in a queue. Holy shitballs, though. Imagine if that was customer service queue. Bleh. Yeah. Very bleh. But we're getting in. We're getting in. We're getting in. Thank you for subscribing to the channel, Dr. Frankenboink. Go to horny jail. No. Nope. 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 No, it didn't work. Milan? Paris? Got closer? Yeah. Russia. Early access launches soon. What you need to know. Well, it hasn't launched yet. Technically. Damn it. Try again. Do this. Nope. Crashed again. At this point, you might as well just try again on Sunday. It's fine. I'm not gonna be packing anything more today anyway. I'm completely dead on that front, so... I don't mind this. I'm just chilling. Let's check. See. Still nothing. No, what I was wanting to check out was like if we could. To be fair, there isn't a lot of internet infrastructure anywhere that can handle hundreds of thousands of people like that. Like, I remember there was some big like makeup thing that was dropping, like 300,000 something people were trying to get onto the same Shopify store at the same time, and basically Shopify went down. I clicked on the game tag and it just sent me to the preview of Asmongold's stream, and I couldn't get away from it unless I exited the tab. Well, you did get away from it. Could you, before you threw up, did you see if Asmongold actually played the game or if he was in the same state we are? Same state, yeah. I looked at a few more like streams on YouTube and stuff, like same thing there. Like if people are in, we can't tell. Looking on Twitch. In terms of streamers, no one seems to be in. Yeah, like the servers are obviously dead at the moment. Still nothing. So let's do this. I think they took the Exile part of the title way too seriously. Oh yeah. And it starts with an ad of alcohol. Awesome. Awesome. I could use some alcohol right now. We still have that awful whiskey. Absolutely not. There we go.
Which class is the best one for you in Path of Exile 2? With the early access for this new ARPG opening up on December 6th, I wanted to go over the available 6 classes, like the Agile Monk and the Witch with her army of undead, to help you pick the best one for your playstyle. Thanks to Path of Exile 2 for sponsoring the video. You can check out the game's early access on Steam, the Epic Game Store, PlayStation
Still chill and enjoyable stream though, yeah.
Series X and S via the special link in the video description. A quick housekeeping note regarding the footage, by the way. Some of it is from an older build, which gave you 5 potion flasks in your inventory. This was later changed to the 2 flask system, which looks like this, so that's what you'll see in early access. Just wanted to
It's called grants.
confusion. Before we get into the specific classes, it's good to know
Some
that
blended
Path of
whiskey
Exile 2
thingy.
skill system is
I don't
extremely
know.
versatile.
Roman left it.
In theory, any character can use any skill, and you can reach any part of the game's massive passive skill tree. Your choice of class simply determines your starting point. So if you find yourself torn between 2 classes, there's a high chance you can make a hybrid of the 2 work with some creative thinking. And while early access opens with 6 classes, with 2 specialized ascension classes for each, the final release will have 12 fully developed classes and 3 ascensions for each, so there's a lot more to come. But let's dive into the first class that will be in early access, the Monk. These agile melee fighters use a quarterstaff as their main weapon, and most of their skills focus on the elements
It's
of
a
lightning,
mixer, yeah.
ice, and wind. Monks also make use of a mechanic called power charges, where killing enemies with certain skills gives you a charge that empowers another skill. So the killing palm skill is a melee attack with a short dash that
You'll have to ask,
kills any target at low health, which you can see thanks to this mark, to generate a power charge. If you then use the normally short-ranged lightning attack Falling Thunder, it consumes the charge to massively expand the area of effect. Another cool example of skill synergy is the Tempest Bell, which drops a massive, well, bell on the field that you can hit with attacks to cause powerful shockwaves. If you hit the bell with an elemental attack, the shockwaves will also become imbued with that element, so it synergizes nicely with any shock or ice attacks. The Monk is really
We just keep it when I can play around being a fake bartender.
Dodge roll. The Monk also has
Or someone does like whiskey takes it off our hands. I remember you, Matthias, Roman, and I think Jovan were drinking a lot of it on Empress's 30th birthday.
Way to reposition yourself. So pick the Monk if you want a very maneuverable melee character who can also dish out a ton of elemental damage. As I mentioned, each class also has 2 ascendancy classes during early access launch, which are specializations that need to be earned by completing ascension trials, which you can find throughout your adventure. For the Monk, you get the choice between the Invoker and the Acolyte. The Invoker is more elemental focused and includes the ability to trigger an avatar state to massively increase your elemental damage. The Acolyte gains access to a special resource called Darkness that your Monk can spend to either increase their damage or improve their defenses. But if you really want to dip your feet into the dark and occult, then the Witch is the class for you. She can shoot out a barrage of bone shards, curse enemies to make them weaker, and even spread negative active status effects with the Contagion spell. Her main feature though is being able to summon a bunch of minions to help out in combat, so if you like summoner classes in these types of games, the Witch is perfect. Some spells, like Unearth, will summon temporary minions from enemy corpses, which are quick to summon but generally only strong in numbers. One cool synergy though is that if an enemy was affected by a status effect,
Jay also
their
said it's
corpse
not
will
coming
spawn
tomorrow,
a
so we're
minion
dwindling
that
in
also
numbers.
applies
It's
the
okay, we
debuff.
still have the
But real
powerhouses.
core of your army is made up of permanent minions who automatically
We still have the
resummon
lifters,
themselves
the
after
literal
dying,
lifters.
so you can focus on casting your other spells. These cost a special resource called Spirit, which basically functions like a budget that you can spend on powerful buffs or, in the Witch's case, permanent minions.
Ultimately,
While you have a variety
even
of
if it's
skeleton
literally just
warriors
me and
you can
Martin,
summon, you also have a spell called
we'd knock it out in
Spectre that allows you
maybe
to
4
capture
hours.
the soul of an enemy and use
Give
it
or take
as
the
a
traffic.
minion. Permanent minions also have a command skill, like being able to detonate other minions who are at low health, so they basically double as extra skills too. The Witch also has access to one of the coolest ascendancy classes in the game, the Infernalist. This allows
Here's
you
your
to summon
class,
a
Empress.
hellhound that burns nearby enemies, but you can also transform into a literal demon yourself, which increases damage taken but also massively improves the Witch's damage and cast speed. And you can also choose to become a blood mage, spending health as well as mana for every spell cast, but each enemy killed drops life
succubus,
fragments
specifically.
that allow you to heal yourself back up.
Infernal
By the way,
succubus.
if you enjoyed the video so far, be sure to leave a like and subscribe so you don't miss the next one. So you can already see how different
Massive
these classes
explosions.
are, but the most unique one and the one I'm personally
Flying
most
demon
excited to
doing
try
shit ton
is
of
the
damage.
Mercenary. This crossbow wielding class overwhelms their enemies with a variety of gadgets, firing modes and ammunition types. You can find crossbows that fire heavy single target bolts like a sniper, rapid fire like a machine gun, or even
But yeah, like looking at how the, like what we've seen from the class gameplay kind of stuff, I very much get the feeling that if you want like a chill, like your first time playing through this game or whatever, Witch or Warrior? Warrior because of the survivability being a lot in stand still and take the hit. You don't need to think about mobility as much. And Witch because you can outsource a lot of the heavy lifting of the gameplay to your minions. So like for me, it's like those two. Or for like newbie classes. Or like just chill play classes.
shoot a close-ranged blast like a shotgun. These various firing modes can all be enhanced with elemental ammunition like frost or incendiary that can add some really cool effects. Rapid-fire frost bolts leave ice crystals on the ground that slow enemies that walk over them. Incendiary shots can ignite gas clouds from grenades, and you can set up an ice ball with a frost sniper bolt, then switch to piercing ammo to blow up the ice and deal massive damage. So as you can see, the mercenary really rewards tactical play and good positioning. Crossbows can even be modified with a variety of attachments like launchers that shoot explosive grenades or flashbangs. The mercenary also has two really interesting ascendancy classes, the Witch Hunter and the Gemling Legionnaire. The Witch Hunter increases your defense against magic attacks, but it also gives every enemy a 10% chance to blow up on death, double that if they're a demon or undead to stick with the class's theme. And while it's a bit more complicated, I expect the Gemling Legionnaire to have a ton of potential. It basically allows you to equip more active skills and more support gems to modify those skills, while also giving you buffs for each of those gems you have slotted. Now maybe you're looking for something a bit more traditional, and if that's the case, look no further than the Warrior. These bulky melee fighters have a ton of AoE slam attacks to deal with groups of enemies, but they can also play more defensively by equipping a shield in their offhand. These are more than just a cosmetic and a stat, by the way, as you can raise your shield at any time to block all frontal incoming damage, and this also applies to shield skills like a forward charge. As you'd expect, there's a ton of synergy between warrior skills, like you can create a magma fissure and then erupt it with a shockwave from another attack. You also have a variety of war cries, like one that buffs the next slam attack with an extra aftershock, or one that marks nearby enemies, which means they'll blow up on death. Really want to go all out, you might want to have a look at
There we
the
go.
passive skill tree and pick up the
No ads
Giant
for you
Blood
guys.
passive. This allows you to wield two-handed weapons in one hand, so you can use a two-handed weapon and a shield, or dual wield two-handed weapons. It also doubles the stat requirements of every weapon though, so there is a trade-off. But yeah, the warrior is the class to pick if you want to be upfront, slam down hordes of enemies, and be really tanky. The two ascendancy classes are the Warbringer and the Titan. Warbringers allow you to summon ancestral spirits to help you in battle or encase your body in jade to tank incoming damage. The Titan is a full-on bruiser, giving every slam attack a chance to trigger an aftershock, increasing the stun damage of your attacks and increasing your damage against stunned enemies. Now let's look at a class with a bit more finesse, which is the Ranger. Like the Mercenary, it's a ranged class, this time using a regular bow, and it trades raw firepower for more maneuverability, as the Ranger can fire.
I think something that these videos kind of misses to like really push is that while the Ranger starts with a bow and he's like automatically drawn towards that, the bow is not necessarily the only weapon they can use. They can use any weapon in the game. They're not locked to a single one. I feel like they're kind of missing that. They're going like, oh, they have bow, they have shields, they have staffs, they have like whatever. I feel like they kind of miss the whole, hey, we can use whatever. As long as you have the stat requirements to use the weapon, you can use the weapon. Or any gear.
Fire any basic arrow attack while moving. You also have a wide array of elemental attacks, including shock arrows that can bounce between enemies or can be stuck into the ground like a mine and explode when another.
And sorry to interrupt the viewing time here. Even more important, all of the skills they're talking about are the skill stones that are attached to the weapon. So it's not the class that can use like thunder arrows or poison arrows and stuff like that. It's the weapon that is determining that. If you drive towards the Ranger passives, you can probably synergize a little bit better with that kind of stuff. But it's not necessarily class-based. It's equipment-based.
Shock arrow bounces off of them. Ice is of course useful for slowing enemies down and getting yourself out of danger, like Frost Escape, which includes a large leap backwards. And as a Ranger, you also get to invest in poison damage and get a little help from Mother Nature. You can place special plants that latch onto nearby enemies, slowing them down and also spreading any poison stacks you apply to the plant to linked enemies. You also have attacks that require some thinking or skill, like Snipe, which is a shot that needs to be drawn and released, but if you hit the perfect timing on the release, you'll deal a guaranteed critical hit. If you want to focus on the sharpshooting aspect of the class even more, then the Deadeye Ascension is the way to go. It adds an extra projectile to any of your skills, increases movement speed while hitting enemies, and it makes sure your arrows never miss, meaning investing in the accuracy stat is no longer required. For a more unique twist to the class, you can pick the Pathfinder Ascension. Next to being able to spread poison between enemies, the Pathfinder also has access to a variety of dangerous concoctions that they can throw at enemies. Beware though, these concoctions take charges from your healing and mana flasks, so you need to pay close attention to your resources when playing this class. And finally, the sixth available class in early access is the Sorceress, an elemental mage that has access to a wide variety of frost, shock and fire spells. These elements can enhance each other as well, like a firewall enhancing any lightning bolts that pass through it with extra damage. Or you can go completely all out with Mana Tempest. This creates an area which drains your mana, but also empowers all spells cast while inside the zone. The Sorceress also has access to powerful trigger gems, which allow you to cast certain spells for free after a certain trigger. So for example, you can use the Shock Trigger gem to drop the powerful Comet spell for free after shocking a certain number of enemies. Now the Sorceress is not the strongest defensive class, and while spells like Ice Nova Zotac can help you get out of danger, you need to take survivability into account by equipping Arctic Armor, for example. Like the Witch's permanent summons, Arctic Armor is a buff that takes up Spirit, which means that the effect stays active as long as you have it equipped. It forms these icy shards around the sorceress when she stands still, which then freeze enemies that attack her. Also good to note is that the sorceress's weapons, like staffs, come with a free spell, so you can keep casting even if you run out of mana. Sometimes this spell is a simple fireball projectile, but other times it can be a more supportive ability like Unleash, which triple casts your next spell. And if you want to lean even more into elemental mastery, then the Stormweaver Ascendancy class has everything you need, from summoning elemental storms on a crit to converting other damage types to shock damage. If you want a specialization that helps with survival,
yeah, the server's
then
not
the Chrono
doing so
Monster
well
will
for
allow
now.
you to stop time, jump yourself back in time and reset your health and mana, and even reset all your current cooldowns with Time Snap. Thanks again to Path of Exile 2 for sponsoring the video. Remember to check out the game on Steam, the Epic Game Store, PlayStation 5 and Xbox Series X and S via the special link in the video description. Let me know what class you'll be playing in the comments. Subscribe
Could you,
to not miss the next
Empress,
video,
could you
and leave
check
a
for
like if you
information
enjoyed
again?
this one. If you want, you can watch another video of
And once again, check out Joe Raptor if this is something that is like good to you guys. Like if you liked his style. Still nothing. No updates. Right. Well, with that said, I mean, we've had a great time in the stream itself. We just haven't played Path of Exile 2. Which kind of sucks. But I think I will call it for now. And we're moving tomorrow. But if all goes well, we'll try to stream it again on Sunday. See if the servers are up. Okay? Either way, I mean, I've had a great time hanging with everyone in chat. So it's not like we haven't had fun. We just haven't played Path of Exiles 2. We just haven't had Path of Exiles 2 fun. We watched some of the classes and stuff. You've seen some of the gameplay now, Empress. What do you think? Like, it's a new style of the game for you, I think, but going off of your impressions as someone who knows nothing about the game. 50-50 at this point? Yeah. Because of the server thing? Oh, I would think the style was more your thing because it's harder to get lost. I mean, I can show we can do this just quickly. It would be freaking hilarious if this now Does not work. Let's see. I know you prefer first person. This is Path of Exile 1. Kind of feels like an out-of-body experience. I think that is better. I think it's like it would be literally impossible to not be overwhelmed if you had this in the same perspective as, like, say the Division, or like as an actual, like, first person perspective. So this is the hub. This is my character over here. Let's see, how do I... There we go. This is my boyo. He's called Swishy Stabberton. I had the same issue in Divinity 2. Yeah. Okay, so if we just leave this place, because the Divinity 2 is still, like, there's no set hub or anything like that, but this is a set hub. So if I take... Let's leave this place. I can go to any place, like, that has this blue thingy. Let's go... The climb. Difficult for me to get into because I feel like I'm just watching someone hack and slash. You're not entirely wrong about that. I think the more important thing here is, like, just like with Vault Hunters, right? It's all about this stuff. Getting this. So and then if we look here, let's go. And just, you see this stat screen, it's just like Vault Hunters, right? It's all about this. Getting this stuff to grow up. Your tie necessarily isn't to character. It is to character stat, build, gear, that kind of stuff. And to progression. So if we go here, is the current I think one of the things I like is that Vault Hunters is limited time. Queue up now. It works now. I think that a big part of like Path of Exile itself, it takes about 20 minutes to clear a map. It's not so much the time limit as much as this is just the time it takes to complete a map, to kill a boss or whatever. Oh. Oh, it's authenticating. Let's try. Nope, an unexpected disconnection occurred. Connecting to login server. An unexpected disconnection. Switching to a different one. 18,000 people. Like, there's a lot of skill involved here. It's just less of... I wouldn't say, like, constant hack and slash isn't necessarily the thing. It's more about, like, timing of, like, when do you use a health bottle or, like, health charge? When do you use a skill? What's the cooldown? What's your position? When do you use a dodge skill? Like, it's a bunch of those different things that needs to queue up instead. Kind of like, if you take it to Vault Hunters, like, there's a certain amount of when do you use your javelin? Like, how do you position yourself? How do you kite your enemies around and stuff like that? All of that is still is still, like, relevant here. Okay, so how do you do it? What about the combat and stuff do you like in Vault Hunters? I had an issue with the Witcher style of combat too. I thought this problem there was that you couldn't control your character. Like, when you were started a move, you were kind of locked into it. So that you didn't have the free move kind of thing that you like. Yeah, that's not the case here. Like, you can always animation cancel in this. Like, using a roll or a teleportation skill, like blink or something like that, you can just cancel whatever you were doing and just move out of the way. That's always going to be the case here. But I definitely think that for me, when I'm playing like Path of Exile versus like Vault Hunters, I kind of feel like I'm playing the same game, just that Path of Exile did it better. They've done it longer, they have more resources, they know what they're doing to a certain extent, more than like all the people developing Vault Hunters. It's just that instead of having the vault where you go in and you play, you have 25 minutes, and if you don't succeed, you're dead. Those challenges do exist in Path of Exile, but it's generally like if you enter, like you exit the hub, you enter a map, and you play until you get to the next level. It takes about the same amount of time. Like, if you're gonna 100% the map you're on, 20-25 minutes. And then be selective with the loot and where you go and what you unlock, and like, yeah. And then sometimes you get good loot, sometimes you get bad loot. Sometimes you manage to trigger something special, some extra dangerous enemies that gives you a bit better rewards and all that stuff. Like, for me, it kind of feels like I'm playing the Vault Hunter stuff. The video keeps buffering for you, so you can't really follow the combo. Ah, sorry. But yeah. We're down to under 6,000, or close to 6,000 now. Ooh. Then maybe we can at least like get an hour in if we get into the game. I would say the similarities are in the looting, you're correct. But they're also in the similarities in the character progression, difficulty progression, the scaling up of things. You very much get the feeling after a while that you're building something. And it's not necessarily a base, the way that it is in Minecraft, right? But you definitely feel like you're building something. The character is the building you're building. Very much feel that. At least that's how I feel. Well, to be honest, I never cared about the whole building your gear and power cohesively to get the skill buff and whatever. I just grab whatever and run walls. Yeah, that's how I play Path of Exile. No, but my question is that because you feel like that was not interesting at all? Or is it because you felt like you didn't have time to do it? Ooh, we're almost in. We're almost in. Come on, come on. Oh, 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 oh.
Criminals! Your sentence is to be hanged from the neck until dead. Let your souls feed the first ones, and your bodies feed the land.
I'm in. Okay, so this is how you choose your class. Would be cool to know which one is which. Rough, yeah. But not like, I mean, like, there are so many, like, when you have run a vault, you have loot on you, right? And that is gear, and it's resources meant to build stuff, like unlock new mods and progress that thing, right? And build more farms and all that. My question is, like, with the ramping up of all the resources, an unexpected disconnection occurred. Nope, it crashed again. Never mind, not doing this today. But yeah, like with the ramp up, no. Like it takes way longer before they kick you for that. I would say the whole if you have so many different things to do, and the first thing you need to focus on is, I need to be able to run the next vault. I need to have the resources to run the next vault. Do you, like, is it just that you feel like you don't have the time to build up those resources and that resource generation to do that, and also spend the time? Everyone on Reddit has this exact experience. Yeah. So you don't spend any time actually thinking about your gear and your skills and like all that kind of stuff in favor of running the next vault versus actually looking at what the gear can do if you synergize it and stuff like that. Because you do spend the time doing kind of exactly this. It's just with the resource generation. And like, how do I unlock the mods that give me this the easiest way and the best way and the most resources so I can get thousands of cobblestone here, or whatever it is you need to run the next vault. Because in this case, all you have to do to run the next vault is walk out the door and get all the resources and all the stuff and all the currencies to upgrade your gear and customize them and re-roll stuff and recraft and break things down, like all that kind of stuff. And then on top of that, then the character leveling and all that. Yeah, but imagine this. Imagine there's no vault crystals. You just walk through the portal, as in walk out the door, and you have a vault. Run. And keep doing that for hours and hours and hours. Nothing to stop you. All you need to think about is like, oh, I need to get back to base because my inventory is full. Portal scroll. Or portal scroll. Straight back to base. Deloot. Oh, I need to log off. Portal scroll. Back to base. Log off. Easy. Nothing to think about. Yeah, that, like, the thing is that if the greatest experience you have in Vault Hunters is running the vaults, then make that the easiest thing to do. The difficulty thing, the difficulty you're going to hit, you don't need to think about your gear. You literally just go, oh, this had bigger number, I wear, I use. And then you're gonna hit a point where a boss you're fighting, most likely a boss, is going to absolutely clobber you. And you're like, ah, crap. And you go back, and you die again. And you're like, ah, crap. And then you go, oh, okay. What is it and like it does that kills me? Okay, it's using fire damage. Okay, so if I switch out these boots for the boots that gave me 30% frost resistance, or fire resistance. Nice. Like, you start automatically doing that to kind of problem solve, to be able to progress, so you can keep running, like, vaults. That is where the difficulty ends up being. So instead of, like, generating resources to run vaults, you have to generate power to run vaults. Does that make sense? Yeah. Just be prepared that you're probably going to have to watch a fair few streams, probably. Or like at least one stream where I progress properly before I start hitting a proper wall. Because it's going to be pretty easy starting out. Kind of like, just like with the vaults. But yeah, it really sucks. Like, I'm just calling Path of Exile 2 for tonight is down. I'm gonna try and sleep. I think the biggest blocker is the perspective. Yeah, and that's where I was like, I would have thought you liked it because it means you can't really get lost. Like, you don't get jump scared from a zombie coming from behind. The creepers can't just randomly drop in on you. Either way, like, I've had a really funny stream. I think I've had a lot of... I'm sure you'll be able to... Yeah. Considering, what would you say before? You have the situational awareness of tumbleweed. Good night. And tomorrow, like, it's not going to be any videos made or anything for, like, for a few days now. Like, move happens tomorrow. We don't know, like, we have gotten our router, but not sure internet is necessarily up and running, or it should be. But Sunday is when I know I will have my rig back up. So I can stream, at least stream. I don't know if I'm gonna have the energy to make a video. Sometime next week, probably. But yeah, thank you so much for hanging out tonight. And it sucks that we didn't get to play any Path of Exile 2, but next time. Bye!